When shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath,
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls, anon. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the newest state.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallaglasses is supplied, and fortune, on this damn quarrel smiling, did show like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak, for brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like Valor's minion did carve his passage, till he faced the slave, who ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from his knave to his chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders do break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner had justice with valour armed compelled those skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms, new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as Sparrow's the eagle, or the hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled their strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds. Or memorise another Golgotha, I cannot tell, but I feel faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds, they smack of honour both. Go, get him surgeons! But who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross!
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king!
Where camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and, to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness!
That now, Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he dispersed at St. Colm's Inch $10,000 for our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Oh, so foul and fair a day I've not seen.
Our forest calls a forest. What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants on earth, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips.
Speak if you can, what are you?
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter.
Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death unarmed Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not in the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say, why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting? Speak, I charge you!
The earth hath bubbles as the water hath, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed?
There are such things here as you do speak about. Or have we eaten of the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, when it not so.
To the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend. Which should be thine or his? Silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the selfsame day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death, as thick as hail, come post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not to pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? The devil speak true.
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
He who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did Lyon the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both, he laboured in his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnests of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my inner state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New horrors come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us towards the king think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts, each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one who had been studied in his death. To throw away the dearest thing he owned as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Cousin, sin of my ingratitude, even now, was heavy on me. Thou art so far before, that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe, in doing it pays itself. Your highness' part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honour.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labour, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly, take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland? That is a step on which I must fall down, or else I'll leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye will get the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whiles I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to the coming on of time with hail, King that shalt be. This I have thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner in greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature, it is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet would wrongly win. Thou'st have, great Glamis, that which cries. Thus thou must do, if thou'st have it, and that which rather thou do fear to do than wishest should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not your master with him, who, if 'twere so, would have informed for the preparations?
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for birth, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctuous visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the affectionate. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pull thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Great glams, where's the order? Greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Your letters have transported me beyond the ignorant present, and I feel now the future in an instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is a book where men may read strange matters to beguile the time. Look like the time, bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like an innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and master.
We shall speak further.
Only look up clear, to alter favour ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, does approve by his loved mansionry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, or coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle, where they most breed and haunt. I have observed, the air is delicate.
See, our honoured hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which we still thank as love. Herein I teach you, which you shall bid God Ildes for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point, twice done and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honours, deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guest tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves and what is theirs in compt, to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces toward him. By your leave, hostess.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, then on this bank and shoal of time we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody inventions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues shall plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a new-born babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. Oh no, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
No, you not, he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions of all sorts of people, which should be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such will I account your love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in your own esteem, letting I dare not, wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man, who dares do more is none!
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. And they have made themselves that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn to you as you have done to this.
If we should fail...
We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him? His 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures do lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quarrel?
Bring forth men, children only, for thine undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done?
Bears receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death.
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold. Take my sword. There's husband in heaven. The candles are all out. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What's not yet at rest? The king's in bed. You've been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, I will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of 3 weird sisters, and to you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, if we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, It shall make honour for you.
So, I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchise and allegiance clear. I shall be counselled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. Like to you.
Go bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger that I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat of present brain, in form as palpable as this which now I draw? Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, o'er the one-half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain's sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offering, and withered murder, alarumed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch. Thus, with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing stride, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the current horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven, or to hell.
That which has made them drunk hath made me bold. What has quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What? Ho!
Alack, I'm afraid they've awakened, and 'tis not done. The intent and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I would have done it. My husband!
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you not speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
As one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder. They did wake each other, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth doth murder sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the ravelled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that cried? Why, worthy thing, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go clean this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think of what I've done. Look on again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms with all. For it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Oh, they pluck out mine eyes. Will all of Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hands? No, rather, this my hand will the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed.
How easy is it then?
Your constancy has left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and find us to be watchers. Be not so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, you best not know myself. Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were the porter of Hell's Gate, he should get old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who is it in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer who hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here, you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there? In the other devil's name. Faith is a traitor who'd set with one side against both sides, who's committed treasons enough for God's sake, and yet could not lie his way back into heaven. Oh, come in, traitor! Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, Faith. It's an English tailor. Come hither after stealing forth from French hose. Come in, tailor. Here's a place to roast your goose. Knock, knock, never at quiet. Who are you? But this place is too cold for help. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to let in some of all professions who followed a primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon! Anon! I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing until the second cock, and much drink, sir, is a provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, though, it provokes and it unprovokes. It provokes the desire and then takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink can be said to be a traitor of lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him. It makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, sir, deceives him in a sleep, and then having given him the lie, leaves him.
Methinks it did give you the lie last night.
That it did, sir, in the very throat of me. I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, he took up my leg sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awaked him. He comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
It is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call on him, but I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to it.
I know this is a trouble to you, but 'tis one.
Label me delighted. Physics bag. This is the door.
I'll make sure of all the door. 'Tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does, you did a point, sir.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in the air. strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events. New hatched to the woeful time, the obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverous and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Horror, horror, horror. Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now has made this masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke the Lord's anointed temple and then stole the life of the building.
How is to say the life? You mean His Majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Bid me not speak. See and speak yourselves.
Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason!
Banquo and Donalbain!
Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up and see the great doom's image.
Malcolm! Banquo!
As from your graves rise up
And walk like sprites to countenance this horror.
ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak, speak!
O gentle lady, it is not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell.
O Banquo, Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Woe, alas! What in our house?
Too cruel anywhere, dear Duff. I prithee, contradict thyself, and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. From this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality, all is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by who?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet but I do repent me of my fury that I would kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outran the pauser, reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature. For ruin's wasteful entrance, here lay the murderers. Steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannily, breached with gore, who could refrain that had a heart to love? And in that heart courage, to make love known.
Help me! Hence! Help!
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here? Where our fate? Hidden in Augerholm may rush and seize us? Let's away, our tears have not yet brewed.
Nor a strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Looks to the lady, and when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer exposure let us meet, and question this most bloody piece of work, to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence, against the undivulged pretence, I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
What will you do? Let's not consult with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office, which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I, our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are there are daggers and men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lightened, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away.
There's warrant in that theft, which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I've seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. It's night's predominance, or the day's shame, that darkness does the face of the earth entomb, when living light should kiss it.
'Tis unnatural. Even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl, hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending gainst obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they ate each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the wheel, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth has slain.
Alas the day. What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colm Kill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors, and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither. Well,
may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old rogues sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad, and friends of foes.
What's had all spent when our desire is got without content? It is better to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone of sorriest fancies your companions making? Using those thoughts indeed that should have died with those they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself while our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the world suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better to be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the tortures of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan's in his grave. After life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason hath done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on. Gentle, my lord. Sleek all your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
You know your own degree. Sit down. And first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in good time we shall require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks that they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon, we'll drink a measure of the table round. Now, good digestion, weight on appetite, and health on both!
Hey! May it please your highness, sit.
Had we now our country's honour roofed, with the graced person of King Duncan present.
Pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
I and a bolder one that dare look on that might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorised by her grandam. Shame itself! Why do you pull such faces when all's said and done you look but upon a stool?
How thou look! Prithee, see there, behold, look, lo! How say you? Why, what care I, if thou canst not speak too? If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the moors of kites!
What, quite unmanned in folly?
If I stand here, I saw him!
Fie! For shame!
Blood hath been shed ere now. In the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel, aye, and sins too, murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. The times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table and our great King Duncan whom we miss. Would he were here. Come, love and health to all, and all to all!
Our duties and our pledge.
Avaunt and quit thy sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes that thou dost glare with!
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare, I dare, approach thee like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros or the Hyrcan tiger, and my firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword! If trembling I inhabit then, protest me the baby of a girl! Hence, horrible shadow! Unreal mockery! Hence! Why so? Being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still!
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be, and overcome us like a summer cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange, even the disposition that I owe. When now I think that you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby in your cheek when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you, speak not, he grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night and better health. Attend His Majesty.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have, by maggot pies and chuffs and rooks, brought forth the secrets of man's blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou Macduff denies his presence at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters, more shall they speak, for I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far, that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, which will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures, sleep.
Come, we'll to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge-pig whines.
Off your cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone, days and nights has 31, sweltered venom, sleeping got, boiled out first in a charmed pot.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a filly snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf. Of the rabbin, salt sea shark, root of hemlock, digged i' the dark. Liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of ewe, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth-strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab.
Add thereto a tiger's children for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is't you do?
A deed without a name.
I charge you by that which you profess, howe'er you came to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yesty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasures of nature's germens tumble all together, even till destruction sicken. Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak, demand,
we'll answer.
Come high and low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought, hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, Macbeth, beware, Macduff, beware the sign of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough!
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution thanks, thou hast harped my fear aright, but one word more.
He will not be commanded, here's another more potent than the first.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth!
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But I'll make assurance double sure and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell, pale heart in fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earth-bound root? Sweet bodements, good. Rebellion's head rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand accursed in the calendar. Come in without there!
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damn be all that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was't came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time, thou anticipatest my dread exploit. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand, and even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done, the castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all the unfortunate souls that do trace him in his line. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, as night's black agents to their praise do rouse.
Thou marvelst at my words, but hold thee still.
Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles, and a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little as the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further. But cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea, each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it'd be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'st never fear the net, nor lime, the pitfall, nor the gin.
Why should I, mother? Poor birds they are not set for. My father's not dead for all your saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I could buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell him again.
Now, God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If he were not, it were a good sign that I shall quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st. What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain.
What? You egg? Young fry of treachery.
He has killed me. Mother, run away, I pray you.
Murder!
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there we pour sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall and birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dollar. See, who comes here?
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. The times remove the means that makes us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for, who, and good men's lives, expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No, they were well at peace when I did leave 'em.
They've not a niggard of your speech. How goest?
When I came hither to transport the tidings which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, and older and a better soldier none than Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing would not latch them.
What concern they, the general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue for ever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner on the quarry of those murdered deer is to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven! What man, ne'er pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge, to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hellkite, all? What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee, naught that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue, but gentle heavens cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself, within my sword's length set him. If he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king, our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is right for shaking, the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may, the night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights' watch with you and can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw a nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, and again return to her bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
Great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you, nor anyone, having no witness to my words. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stands by her at all times. It is her continual command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action to seem to wash her hands. I have seen her do this for more a quarter of an hour.
Here's the spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down her words to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out! Out, damned spot! Out, I say! 1,
2. Well, it is time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier and defeared. What need we fear? Who knows it when none can call our power to account? Yet, who would have thought the old man would have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known. There's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh.
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be so.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those who have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you, again, Duncan's buried. Cannot come out of the grave.
Even so?
To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed.
And will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Natural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows do discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her, remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she is mated, and amaze my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Bring me no reports, let them fly, all! Till Bernard Wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot take with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, no man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false Danes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee black, thou green-faced loon! Where gotst thou that goose look?
There's 10,000.
Geese, villain!
Soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face and overred thy fear, thou lily-livered boy! What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counsellors to fear! What soldiers, white-face?
The English force, I please you.
Take thy face hence! Seaton! I am sick at heart when I behold. Seaton, I say! This push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I've lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf. And that which should accompany old age, honour, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead curses. Not loud, but deep, mouth honour, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny, and dare not. Satan!
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armour.
It's not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Skir the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armour.
How does thy patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, give me mine armour. Satan, send out. Doctor, the Thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the waters of my land, find her disease, and purge her to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say! What sign or rhubarb or other purgative stuff would scour these English heads? Hear'st thou of them?
Aye, my good lord. Your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afeard of death and bane till Burnham is come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing. Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant robe upon a dwarfish thief.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough, and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host, and make discovery ere and report of us.
It shall be done.
We'll learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. Where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but certain issues, strokes, must arbitrate, towards which advance the war!
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced, with those that should be ours, we should have met them, dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. Wherefore was that cry?
It was the cry of women, my good lord.
I've almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treat eyes rouse and starve as if life were in't. I've sucked full with horrors. Dianas, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to day, till the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out. A brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon, methought, the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me enjoy your wrath if it be not so, as in this 3 mile may ye see it coming. I say, in moving grove.
If thou speak'st false upon the next tree, shalt thou hang alive till famine cling thee.
If thy speech be sooth, I care not if God does for me as much.
I pall in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth.
Fear not till Burnham Wood become to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes towards Dunsinane. Arm, and out!
If this which he avouches does appear, there is no flying hence, nor tarrying here. I gin to be a-weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone.
Ring the alarum bell! Blow wind, come rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back!
Now near enough! Your leafy screens throw down! And show like those you are! You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon us what else remains to do according to our order. Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
What is thy name? No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
Thou no more fearful.
Thou liest upon a tyrant! With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speak.
Thou wast born of woman. For swords I smile, weapons laugh to scorn. Brandished by a man of woman.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched curds whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him, Fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle is gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do. We have met with foes that strike beside us. Enter, sir, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Where I see lives, the gashes do better upon them!
Turn, hellhound, turn.
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back, my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms give thee out.
Thou losest labour, as easy may thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed that Polterwithers are a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our eyes, but break it to our heart. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and the gaze of the time, and be like our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole, under it, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, or to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield! Lay on Macduff, and damn be he that first cries, hold enough!
I would the friends we missed were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet, by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but, like a man, he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
He has hurt before.
Aye, on the front.
Why then, good soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so, his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. And so, God be with him. And here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee, compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutations in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, the King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!